corner is Cam. Bottom in the Tennessee Titans. What is that? A hoodie or a beanie? What is that, dude?
It's a beanie.
That's Jason. How you boys doing?
Go ahead, Cam.
I'm living good. Living good, Eric. No, I'm good, man. Just enjoying being here with you guys. I almost wore my Titans beanie, but I felt like Jason was going to wear something, so I was like, I'll get it next time. So
I'm surrounded by Titans fans. Jason, how you living, bro?
I'm living strong. You knew that.
As always. That's what I'm talking about. Heck yeah. Well, we got an awesome show for y'all. This is actually our first ever, like we'll say real. We tried a little mock thing last night. It didn't turn out super great. This is our first real live stream. Yeah, it was the worst. So bear with us through technical difficulties because it took me like 15 minutes because I am, in fact, an idiot when it comes to technology and most things. But we're going to be talking about this crazy QB carousel that's going on in the NFL. I read something up to 17 teams could be changing quarterbacks or they'll have a different quarterback scenario in 2021. So we're going to hit it from an NFL perspective. We're going to spice in some fantasy things in there as well. But the first thing I want to talk about, y'all, and I'm going to let y'all talk about it, but I'm just going to set it up for you, all right? We're not going to bury the lead here. We're not going to do it. Matthew Stafford to the Rams. Excuse me. I'm choking to death. Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams. I told y'all, bear with us here for 2 future firsts, a third, and Jared Goff. Jason, I'm going to start with you because I know you got some strong feelings about this.
I don't have to argue this.
No, you're good. I just want to know, I have one quick question for you. How is this going to affect both teams?
How will it affect both teams? Oh, most positively. I mean, I think that's where we ran into a wall last time we had this conversation. It is a positive thing for both teams. You know, Stafford does a lot for them. Stafford means a little more security when you get to the NFC Championship game and you'd like to see a Super Bowl. That's what that means. But for Detroit, Dan Campbell, he had to have something to work with, and there wasn't much there. You can't start a franchise that way, especially with the way that defense played. You saw the hiring on the OC. You saw the hiring on the running backs coach. You see what they have in the stable. It makes perfect sense. Look, Goff he's super underrated right now. I don't know what's going on. This huge attack on Jared Goff. Quarterbacks have bad years, man. Quarterbacks, all players. Screw that. All players have bad years. He just happens to play the most important position. So he's getting the crap beat out of him right now in the news. But bottom line is they have an extremely serviceable quarterback. They have an offense that's going to run first, which is what LA was just doing. So he's going to feel comfortable in this new offense. If anything, you have to question a little bit about Stafford because, I mean, I've seen him do better in different offenses. This Lions team that wanted to run so badly wasn't one of Stafford's greatest years. You know what I mean? So sure. I feel like Goff thrives in that situation, and I feel like Sean McVay is going to have to show us who he is, and I'm not doubting the guy, but he's going to have to show us who he is and bring a new offense that benefits Stafford.
Agreed. Cam, same question for you, and then I got a follow-up question for you when you're done.
I think it's good.
Great. I love it. Jason,
Jason did nail it on the head, man. I'm just going to say what I said the other night. My only concern is with the Rams, man, if they don't make it to the playoffs next year, they're just going to look like a fucking joke. They literally put everything they got into this, and I like Matt Stafford. I like what the Rams did this year. I'd hate to see it blow up on them, but, I mean, it's a very real possibility. So I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued. I'm looking forward to this coming season. I want to see how good Stafford and Goff play. And, God, I love Matt Stafford. So
it's going to be interesting. I think anybody with a set of eyeballs can say that, and this is my opinion, that Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. The follow-up question, I'm going to not let Jason talk real quick, but the follow-up question to you, Cam, is does this legit solidify the Rams as the team to beat in the NFC?
I mean, that's a loaded question, dude. There's this one saying that I keep hearing, and I think Jason coined this in the chat, man. one receiver away. At first, I didn't. I was like, that's whatever. But the more I look at that lineup, and the more I think about it, there may be something there. They may just be one receiver away. I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. Like they're going to be a force next year. But to be the team in the NFC, I don't know. I don't know if they're there yet. I don't know.
What do you? Yeah. Okay. What do you think, Jason?
About the Rams?
Yeah, as far as I really so my opinion is I think this does solidify them as the team to beat in the NFC in my opinion. I just wanted to hear y'all before I kind of give my spiel on it.
The team to beat in the NFC?
Yes.
Ah, man.
What's up, Izzy?
Hey there.
Hey, Izzy.
In the pod? What do you?
We got kids running around. It's all right, y'all. No big deal.
I'm sorry about it.
Oh, you're good, man.
So we're talking about the Rams. Look, first things first is we want to know what Cam Akers is bringing because I'm not as worried about Matt Stafford as I am about Cam Akers. I think Cam Akers is arguably the heart of that team right on offense right now. I think he should be. If they watched yesterday, you saw me clash with you on Cooper Kupp a little bit. I don't love the receivers in LA. But I do love Cam Akers. So if we can get, look, I'll bring it back a little bit. When's the first time you really saw love for Matt Stafford on national television? It's when he played Brett Favre with the Minnesota Vikings. All right. And Brett Favre raved over the kid, just raved over him. So you understand that he's getting the same opportunity here. He's going to a team with a great running game, with a great running back, with a great offensive line, huge defense, and he gets to come in. And look, when Brett showed up to that team, just use a comparative. When he showed up to that team, there were receivers on that team we didn't know about, names that we weren't ready. They weren't household names yet. And then so we got Stafford showing up. Hey, man, Josh Reynolds. Your fantasy, take a flyer on Josh Reynolds.
I take a sandwich right now. Fucking.
I'm right. I'm with Van Jefferson, dude. I really like Van Jefferson in that offense to take over Josh Reynolds. I believe he's an unrestricted free agent next year. Josh Reynolds, that is. And I really do think this Rams with that defense, they're not losing any pieces. You got to question how good that offensive line is going to be. Andrew Whitworth is going to be 57, I believe it is. No, he's going to be like 39 or something, dude. So holding down that left tackle position, I'm curious to see because the Rams don't have any picks for the next 4 years in the first round. So I think personally, a team is only as good as their offensive line. You look at the four teams that were in the conference championship games. Great offensive lines, all four of them. Great quarterbacks, of course, too. But this is a very symbiotic relationship in the NFL, how everything works together. But yeah, man, with that defense, I'm hard pressed to see anybody. This is before the draft, of course, and before free agency. I'm saying, as on paper right now, I do believe the Rams are the favorite to win the NFC next year. But I'm going to cut y'all off because I'm the host of the show. You don't get a rebuttal.
Favorite to win the NFC.
I don't know. That's
home conference.
That's worse than you saying you're going to win the fucking fantasy league next year.
How dare you, sir? I'm done with you. Cam is muted. Actually, a good question is, honest to God, so the Lions did not have to give up their first round pick. They're picking 7th overall. What do they do with that pick? Do you think they go quarterback? That team has a ton of holes. They're rebuilding. So do you think they go quarterback here? Maybe a quarterback of the future, someone very toolsy like Trey Lance from North Dakota State? Or do you think they attack that defense? As Jason gets viciously mauled by his daughter.
That's funny.
Cam, we'll go to you first.
No, man. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, full disclosure for anybody that's watching, if you want to judge, I'm still new to a lot of this stuff, getting back into football. But no, honestly, I mean, I think if you're gonna make that trade with Goff, I mean, they got a lot of confidence in him. I don't think they're gonna be looking for a QB. I don't know why they would, honestly. I mean, because Goff is good. He's good. And like Jason said earlier, everybody's entitled to a bad year every now and then. So I would assume they're going to work on maybe building up the defense. I don't know why you would take. I don't know why they would take a quarterback. That's my.
I guess in defense of my, I wouldn't even say that's my opinion what they're going to do. I'm not sure they do that.
No,
depends on who's there. Of
You
course.
said it.
But there's a lot of different options they can do there, right? So they can trade down. The Carolina Panthers are picking number eight,
Right.
excuse me, and they're a quarterback needy team. They were in that Matthew Stafford sweepstakes. They actually offered the number 8 pick for him.
Right.
So, are they going to trade down with another quarterback needy team? It's a distinct possibility. Or, like I said, I mean, quarterback is the most position or the most important position in all of sports, in my opinion.
No, it's the most position there. You got it right.
It's the most position. You're right. I'm sorry. I messed up.
Yes.
I messed up. And this is what this pod is going to be, is Cam correcting me when I undoubtedly make a mistake, even though I've spoken for about 10 hours today because it's my job to speak. I hate you so much. Why did I invite you on this show?
See, I just jumped the gun on it. Obviously, when I start talking and I start throwing like stats out later, I'm gonna stumble because I'm not good with numbers. So like I'm gonna stumble, and I was just a preemptive strike to set the tone. And Jason's back.
All right, Jason. So the question was, what do you think the Lions do at number 7? Do they take a quarterback of the future, or do they try and build on that defense? I mean, there's holes everywhere. What do you think, man?
Defense. It's got to be defense. You got to make up for every running back you've drafted in the last 5-6 years. I mean, come on, man. How many running backs did they draft? I really hope one of you guys have a stat on this.
I don't.
This is hey, look. If
Too dang many. That's how many.
If you listen to the Anchor podcast, I know I'm usually a lot more informative, and typically I will be. But today was the first day I just wanted to see how I could freestyle this. So I wish I had a number for you, but I think most football fans know.
Well, they took Kerryon Johnson in 2018 in the second round.
Yeah.
They pulled Bo Scarborough, who was drafted by the Cowboys in the 7th round of 2019, I want to say. They got Adrian Peterson. They picked up Adrian Peterson. They drafted Swift in the 2nd round last year.
Yeah.
They just keep freaking. It's like a shotgun approach. Hey, let's just fire this bird shot and see what happens. I think they found their guy in Swift, though. Personally,
yeah, they did.
Of course, Cam agrees. He's got him on his dynasty team.
But he's good.
Wasn't there some talk about DeAndre Swift living with Matt Stafford? Wasn't that like a thing?
I had not heard anything about that. No, the only thing I'd heard about Swift, at least this offseason, was that Dan Campbell wanted to potentially get him more involved out of the slot, which, hey, they're losing all their wide receivers, so they need somebody to catch the damn ball.
Yeah, it's true.
But
well,
yeah, man. So,
I was going to say, y'all, you brought up the Panthers earlier, man. You want to use that as a segue into talking about some of these teams going for these QBs, man?
Absolutely. I think we do have a lot to get to. Cam's like, I'm trying to go to bed. I don't have time to do all this stuff. But hey, so for anybody watching, I'm going to kind of throw this out throughout the entire live stream here. If you've got questions or whatever, we will give you mediocre answers to those questions with our mediocre knowledge on football.
I'll answer it because I'm an idiot. So.
I hope you do. Please ask questions. Ask any question. I don't care.
How much?
Football,
Yeah.
not football, it doesn't matter. Ask it.
Ask how tall Jason is. It's crazy. So what we're going to do is basically we're canceled. To steal a phrase from
there it goes.
So what we're going to do, honestly, I'm going to roll through the teams that we know, at a very, very reasonable level that they're not going to change quarterbacks here. So pardon me while I turn my head to my other computer. I have many computers. I'm clearly very rich. But the Cardinals, obviously, they're not changing. They're not changing their quarterback, man. We got Kyler Murray. He's been improving every single season. This will be his year. This will be his 3rd year in the league. We got Hopkins there. I mean, that's just nasty. Somebody is actually calling my phone right now, blowing me up. Buffalo Bills, duh. They're not. They literally they are. I just want to say this real quick. They are the blueprint for a young, toolsy. He's ended up being an awesome quarterback. How to build around him, it's just been incredible what they've done. And the most important thing, the most valuable thing in the NFL is a good to great quarterback on a rookie deal. It just is because you could build around him in that way. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, I don't think he's going anywhere. They need to get him a goddamn wide receiver like Allen Robinson, right, Jason?
No.
Who would you suggest instead?
Chris Godwin.
So just a little insight here. Jason and I on our Anchor pod, we did a lengthy debate about this. And hey, at the end of the day, Godwin or Robinson, oh, Lord, give the dude. As a Baltimore Ravens fan, you would be freaking soiling your pants in a good way if that happened.
It literally came down to I wanted a younger guy. He thought he was prime or young.
Yeah.
Whichever.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a personal preference. I'm going to skip over the Atlanta Falcons for now because I do have questions about them. The Cincinnati Bengals, I have a good quote I read from Dr. David Chow, I should say. He's Pro Football Talk Doc on Twitter. He's amazing. He's been really very, very accurate with his injury takes. He was actually the doctor for the San Diego Chargers back in the day. But he says he does think,
as long as it's not a 2020 doctor from San Diego.
Punctured lung, and you're out for the rest of the season. Dude, that guy has no bedside manner. What is wrong with him?
God.
But he thinks Joe Burrow is going to be back for week 1 as long as there's no unforeseen setbacks. So that is awesome for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cleveland Browns, we got Baker there, and that ain't going to change. Packers, I just want to say this is what Cam wrote in here. He is not leaving. He is not retiring. Why would you say that, Cam?
Because I have Rodgers in my dynasty league. He can't retire, and I don't want him to leave because I also have Devontae Adams, and those two just crushed it for me. But also, all right, so I am not a Green Bay Packers fan. I want to point that out. I married into a Chicago family. They are a Bears family. Therefore, I inherently am a Bears fan. And so I don't like the Packers, but I do like Aaron Rodgers. I've always liked Aaron Rodgers, and I just don't want to see him because of last year, what happened in the playoffs. Well, this year, what happened in the playoffs. I don't want to see him leave and go somewhere else because there's talks of, what was it, the 49ers maybe? Just the rumor going around. It might be all smoke and mirrors. I doubt it. Yeah. But I want to see Rodgers retire in Green Bay, retire on top, retire as the fucking man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my bad. Are we is this explicit?
Okay. I don't care.
I want to see him retire as the fucking man.
Don't watch this with your children if anybody is watching. Unless it's Jason, whose child just tried to strangle him to death.
Yeah, that was
great. Man, I've been there before. Cam has been there before. We all have children, so just I don't know why y'all needed to know that, but you needed to know.
Dead crew.
So actually, this is the most. This is the one I'm really concerned about. I don't know if he's going to stay there. The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Do y'all think?
Oh my God!
I'm just playing. Of course, he's there for like the next 15 years. He's getting $500 million. 10 years, $500 million.
He's Tom Brady to the Patriots.
He signed a baseball contract. How did that happen? That's the craziest shit I ever seen. This is an interesting. So I think we've run. Oh no, so not quite yet. We got the Los Angeles Chargers. I think Justin Herbert showed out this year. He exceeded all my expectations. Jason, you and I talked pretty extensively. Did you like him coming into this season or no?
No, no one liked him. That's the thing. No one liked him. No one thought he was anything. The kid, and I hate to be the one to point this out because I haven't heard anyone else make the comment, but when you see the guy senior year, you see a kid. He's baby faced. You see a kid, and I think on tape he wasn't bad, but I think a lot of people in the interview process saw this man child and didn't see the leadership qualities of a quarterback. Now, do I expect him to have a sophomore slump from hell? Yeah, pretty bad. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what do you think about as far as like Austin Eckler goes, Keenan Allen, his options, and actually Hunter Henry might be gone in free agency, and that's a big weapon for him to lose. We'll just talk about it from a fantasy perspective. What do you think about that?
From a fantasy perspective, oh man, if anyone's going to get hurt from a fantasy perspective in 2021, it's probably Keenan Allen. Like I said, he's going to have a sophomore slump. They know a little bit about him now. got tape on the guy now. You know his expectations are. I mean, Austin Eckler is still a gym rat. He's still a guy that you just put the ball in his gut and say, take him out.
Yeah.
And if you can run the ball, and they have great players behind him, it's not just Eckler. So I mean, but if you can run the ball well, you're going to find opportunities with your tight end. So as long as they retain Hunter Henry and run the ball well, those two will still. I think they'll still be great fantasy options. Keenan Allen, on the other hand, man, I drop him like 5 or 6 position rankings just based on the fact that, just based on the fact that there's tape now.
Yeah, I can see that. What do you think, Cam? Do you still like Austin Eckler? Do you like Keenan Allen a little less? I mean, Kalen Ballage ran well behind that offensive line, which is crazy to me. But what do you think, man?
Honestly, man, I like Herbert. I like what he was doing, and I did not think about the sophomore slump at all. That's just one of those phrases I haven't heard in a long time, and getting back into it, I haven't thought about it. Now I'm kind of rethinking things. I don't know. Get back to me later. Now I gotta do some research, man. I like Herbert. I do, but I don't know, dude. Like, I gotta go reevaluate some life choices if that makes sense.
I think we should all be doing that eventually. So we got the Seattle Seahawks and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to skip over both. Russell Wilson ain't going anywhere. Ryan Tannehill ain't going.
Where do you rank Ryan Tannehill, real quick?
As far as NFL quarterbacks or fantasy?
Overall quarterback, yeah.
I
know you got some position rankings.
Man, I just started them actually. That's a teaser. I like it, Jason. Man, I would say I think Ryan Tannehill shakes out definitely within my top 10, at least as far as fantasy goes. For sure, fantasy. Real life quarterback.
Tighten the fuck up! Tighten up! Tighten up!
This is why we don't give Cam liquor and cocaine.
Sorry.
But
I knocked a bunch of shit over.
It's all right, man. Don't worry about it.
Titans. Sorry, guys.
This is a professional podcast. All right, everybody that's watching. No, dude, I really like Ryan Tannehill. He's shown himself to be incredibly efficient. He's got a bevy of weapons around him. I'm curious what they do. Do you think? Y'all, I got Titans fans here. Do y'all think they re-sign Corey Davis or no?
Absolutely at this point. Absolutely.
Yeah. You both think so? Okay.
Yes.
What type of money? I mean, he really hasn't shown himself to be a.
You have to consider. So here's the deal. You got to think about this. Could Corey Davis move? Sure, but there's a ton of wide receivers in the free agency right now. He's got a lot of competition, and he only showed up for one season out of his entire career. Let's be honest. So here's from a Titans perspective where he kind of has them by the balls is because we didn't get a great OC and we didn't get a great DC. We ended up promoting from within. So what does that tell you? We got to keep a similar approach to what we do. We're not bringing in somebody to reinvent the wheel, and we're not bringing in an all-star. Unfortunately for us, Dean Pease kind of threw us the bird. So, I mean, it's kind of like at this point, everyone on offense has to stay. Everyone on defense needs to go. And that's what's going on.
Okay. So I have a that is funny as hell. And I actually broke the news about Dean Pease leaving. You were just a little upset. Just a little upset. I think his exact quote was, "Fuck, this is why we were good." But no, so I've got a mock draft here about Bucky Brooks. It's the most latest one I could find from someone of some sort of repute. But they have the Titans taking an edge rusher. I don't know how in the world to say his name, but I think that's a worthy pick in the first round for y'all because y'all. I mean, Harold Landry's been great. Do they run a 3-4 scheme? Because that's where Landry really excels is that outside linebacker.
Yeah, of course.
I think they will too.
Not changing that. Vrabel's not changing that. At the end of the day, the news right now, the drama in the news and the gossip right now is that we're trying to do everything we can to make that J.J. Watt connection happen again with Mike Vrabel. Yeah. So
I like not too bad.
To deteriorate, and I'm just going to cross both fingers and hope that goes down.
Dude,
all two fingers.
Speaking of J.J. Watt, man, got to get him out of the freaking Houston, man. Got to get him out of there. Like, he's so good. Stupid good.
Deshaun's a good role model. Get everyone out of Houston.
Yeah. Just go ahead and
just
close. Just shut down that franchise, man. Y'all started too late.
Just
didn't work out.
Dude, Bill O'Brien needs to be like, he is the villain. He's the villain O'Brien. Like, he's like, dude, he's terrible, man. He screwed that franchise.
O'Brien, but it hurts.
Yes. All right, so we got a couple more. I'm going to talk about the Vikings in a little bit because I heard a weird trade rumor today. And then we got the Giants as our last team we're going to talk about. Is they're going to stand pat. Daniel Jones ain't going anywhere. He did have a bit of a, as Jason said earlier, sophomore slump because he was kind of pegged as that guy to, at least for fantasy purposes, to break out in 2020. And he certainly did not. He was a turnover machine. Yeah.
Can I just say something? So I watched a lot of football this year. I did not watch one New York Giants game because I don't care. Like, I just don't.
Giants fans didn't watch it either.
Yeah, I just don't care.
If I could weigh in on this for a second. So I hate that Jason Garrett's gone in one season, a COVID season with no off season, with no chance of getting his schemes in play. If the guy was up against, listen. And I said this on Anchor. Anybody who is judging anybody who didn't get to have a preseason or a training camp or any of that is insane right now. Like, okay, we knew coming into this 2020 season that these teams are just going to be repeats of themselves from the prior year. Some of them were a little better. Some of them were a little worse. But barring some injuries, most of the teams were very consistent. So my thing is this, Jason Garrett is an offensive genius. I don't care what you think. I really don't. I know you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. You have your problems with him. But I saw a different Cowboys this year with and without Dak. So I'm just going to say that I think Jason Garrett got screwed, and I think that Daniel Jones is going to have someone signed who's nipping at his heels.
That's what Jason Garrett's good for. Not offensive genius. He can clap really well. He has calloused clapping hands.
Okay. That's
about it. No, I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from. I mean, he lost Saquon Barkley. Was it preseason or first game?
First game.
First game. So, I mean, it's hard to judge a man based on when you lose your best offensive piece in the very first game. So, I mean, I hate Jason Garrett. I hate him. And I don't wish anything good for him. But I do understand what you're saying.
If anybody's watching this, just tag Jason Garrett and let him know that Eric wants to fight him.
Yeah.
Can we make that happen?
Dude, I will straight up fight Jason Garrett. But not a slap boxing match because he's had a lot of practice with slapping his hands together. Not today, my friend. Not today.
It's good fun.
All right, so let's hit what I want to do next. I want to hit the teams that are 100% or at least like 99% going to have a new starter in 2021. And I just want to get y'all's perspectives, and I'll throw kind of my 2 cents in there as well. But the first one I want to hit on, Jason, you got your tissues ready? New Orleans Saints.
Oh, man.
Drew Brees has not actually formally announced his retirement yet, right? Have y'all tracked that at all? I haven't seen that yet. Taysom Hill, who is terrible at football, is terrible at quarter. He's good at football, terrible quarterback. He's under contract through 2021. He did have a 3-1 record as a starter, but he did play Atlanta twice, Denver, and Philadelphia. All of them are picking in the top 7 or 9, like it's top 9, I think it is, something like that.
Yeah.
And Jameis Winston is actually an unrestricted free agent. He is not under contract for 2021.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So. Is it Taysom Hill, Jason? Is it someone else? Like, what do they do there? And also, let me say this. They are officially $112 million over the cap. Not under, over.
Well, see, Jesus. I'm hoping for those reasons that Drew stays. I'm not sure if he's still on contract. Is he still under contract, or will
just stop it? Just stop it. No, he did. I think he does have a contract. I can look it up real quick. but I believe he does have a contract for 2021.
And I think that's why he needs to stay. I think Drew needs to understand, like, hey, man, and he's the great leader that he is. He's a great leader that he is. Hey, Tom's going to keep playing. There's no reason why you don't give it one more shot, man. Again,
because he doesn't have an arm.
He can make it happen. Tom Brady fools you. Tom Brady fools you. How many of those plays are within 10 yards? How many times you just
you talking about? Yeah, because Brady still has power and zip in his throws. Breeze is like literally like those little. It would be like those things that you have for like throwing tennis balls to dogs, and it has a little deal. It would be like if it bent. That's what Drew Brees throws the ball like at this point in time.
He's not Peyton Manning yet. We can say that.
He's damn close.
I don't know about that. I haven't seen one of those yet. Hey man, look, they're screwed. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? I mean, it could be Taysom Hill's football team.
It could be.
Case, I think that's going to be a completely different offense. And if that's the case, they might want to look at who's calling those plays.
You talking about Sean Payton?
If you're going to have to play an RPO style offense where if you're going to have to be the Baltimore Ravens, I don't know that Sean Payton's the guy you want calling those plays.
He's earned, man. That's a tenured coach who has had, top 10 offenses pretty much his entire career as a head coach. Now, granted, he has had Drew Brees pretty much the entire time. What do you think about a Taysom Hill-led offense, Cam?
All right, so I'm just going to say, for anybody that doesn't know me and isn't in our Dynasty League, I like off-the-wall quarterbacks.
All the rest of you that are listening right now.
Yeah, pretty much all tens of you that are listening right now.
Yeah.
I like weird quarterbacks. I like off-the-wall. I like underdogs. And I'm going to just state it right here. I like Taysom Hill. He's fun to watch, man. I had fun watching him. So now – being fun to watch is different from actually leading the team to do stuff. So I don't know, man. I just that one. I'm not super invested in the Saints. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big Breeze guy. I respected him. The Saints are one of those teams that are just like, hey, get out of the way because you and any more.
Jason's about to throw hands.
He's pissed. This is our first impasse.
Drew Brees is one of the classiest football players.
He is.
I don't give a crap what anyone says about anything he might have put on social media that upset somebody.
We ain't even going to go there with that bullshit.
Actions speak louder than words. Look how that man conducts himself. Look how he treats his teammates. I talked about it on the Anchor Pod. If you go back to that last game, Jared Cook screwed him time and time again. But when you go and you look at how he responded, how he led, he's out there telling him, it's okay, man. You can see it in his body language. The guy just exudes that what you want at that quarterback position. I mean, the stats don't even matter.
Except for a good arm.
Yeah, well, the stats don't even matter to me at this point. Like, dude, I would love Drew Brees if he was the 50th best quarterback statistically.
Fair enough.
My favorite thing,
amazing leader.
My favorite thing was just watching him and Brady just out there talking and passing balls with the kids. That, like, all jokes aside, that was really cool to see. Yeah, it hit you in the heart. You're like, dude, like that's really cool. Like, and so like I said, I'm not a super big Breeze fan. I've never had any. I've never really been invested, but I felt something seeing that. Not the game itself, but seeing that, I was like, bro, he is one of the all-time greats. He's going to walk off. This is probably his last time there. Watching him out there just kind of having that moment, that was pretty, I don't know. I ain't going to lie to you. I got a little choked up. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Cam, rate the top 5 most fun quarterbacks to watch.
Oh, cool. Real quick. All right. Heineke, Taysom Hill. Boom. There you go. That's my favorite. Boom.
Oh, God. I walked into that, didn't I? What an idiot. I am. All right. So I think we can all agree. I would say I do believe it's Taysom Hill starting at quarterback for them next year.
Yeah.
I think much to the detriment of fuck it, I can't talk. Detriment of that team.
They paid him.
Somebody else host this.
So-
Somebody else host this. Can we bring somebody else in here?
Jason would do a much better job.
Is Dan Rather available? No.
Oh my God! Can we get Dan? Somebody tag Dan Rather right now and bring him in.
Clearly,
I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks, bud.
I
I
think
just
you're
can't
doing a
talk.
wonderful job.
I
don't
literally
know.
talk. I'm not even
It's
joking.
okay.
I talked for like 8 straight hours at work today, and I'm dead. But I'm going to do my best.
I love you.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate
You're doing great.
If only I could have a. Never mind. I was going to say smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
But I was going to say take a hit of cocaine actually, but I'm not going to do that because
Hey, I got a question. Real quick. This is solely off topic. We can just hit on it for a second. So since like smoking, you got to be 21 now. Is that like a more than a PG thing now? Like, so like, do we got to put a disclaimer in if somebody was to light up a smoke during this? I mean, because I'm definitely drinking some boozes.
We're drinking, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, that's good. All right, we can roll on. Sorry.
To y'all's favorite team here, the Indianapolis Colts. Phillip Rivers has officially retired. Jacoby Brissett is an unrestricted free agent, so he's not under contract for 2021, and they have almost $65 million in cap space. They have to be, in my opinion, one of the biggest players to bring in a big free agent quarterback.
Yeah,
I just don't know who it's going to be. That's the thing. I don't know who the quarterback would be.
I don't like it. It's scary because I mean, the only thing that I really, when I was doing all my research this week, one thing that I found that popped up a couple of times was that they could possibly reach out to Carson Wentz. Now, I don't know how strong that is, which, I mean, take Wentz. I don't care. Yeah, take Wentz, please. Like, stay away from Watson. Take Wentz. Take Wentz, and we're good. But, like, that's my biggest concern, man, because, like, I know we're going to hit on it in a minute, but, like, Watson, man, really? Anywhere with that cap room? I mean, he could end up anywhere, and I don't.
If Houston trades Watson to Indianapolis, then their new GM is worse than the one that just got fired. I'm telling you right now, that is the worst decision you can make within your own division. I don't see that happening at all.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too, Jason. I do not see them trading within their own division. That to me is the dream spot. I mean, not necessarily the dream spot. Like I said, we'll get to them in a minute.
How dare you?
Hey, listen, I just want to see the world burn, and I just want to see y'all super unhappy.
No, see what I'm hoping happens.
Y'all are my two best friends, but I want to see you unhappy.
Okay,
well, shit.
I'm hoping, all right, so here's my play. Here's my Indianapolis Colts scenario. So what happens is a certain team in Dallas. So we're going to keep it in Texas.
We're moving on.
So
I like where this is going.
Team
No, let's talk about it.
has one thing going for them, and they thought he wasn't good enough to pay. So when that one thing got hurt really bad, he watched how awful they are when he's not in the game and realized that his value was exactly what he perceived it to be.
He's scratching his head.
Yeah.
He's upset.
So I
don't like this conversation.
Prescott deserves to go to some place that truly wants him to play.
Noted. Moving on.
Zip right on through.
Dude, I really don't think we'll get to Dallas in a little bit, but I do not think Dak is going anywhere. I don't know their cap situation. I can look at here in a second, but
he's not. Let's knock Dallas out. Screw it. We're here. Look.
Yeah, let's get Dallas. Yep.
Let's go.
Leaving, and I'm going to tell you why he's not leaving. Because all right, look, you already got screwed on money, but you won. You proved your point, and you're still going to have a long career ahead of you. You've got the best receiving core in football, and I'm assuming Zeke will shake off whatever the hell's going on with him. But the bigger reason why is because Dak Prescott gets a lot of money for being the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. So when we're talking about a situation where you weren't getting the contract you wanted, you weren't getting paid, you weren't getting the security, you're not going to leave now knowing that you're leaving money on the table doing so. So Campbell's chunky, baby.
Campbell's chunky. Hey, and whatever that mattress that he's always freaking he's always pushing that mattress too. It warms your feet, man. It
Hey.
warms your feet. So
Real quick, for the money that Dak's making, I would hate myself enough, but I would stay in Dallas. Like I'd do it. I'd hate myself, but I would do it.
that
I'd
would
stay
be no different. That would be no different than now.
Fuck you.
But Dallas has Dallas is it looks like around about the top 10, 12. They got about $14 million in cap space going into 2021. I'm sure they can restructure some deals. People are going to fall off. There's no. He would be a fool, in my opinion, to leave Dallas. As Jason said, all the endorsements, all these different things, and you have 3 incredible wide receivers to throw the ball to. And you talk about from a fantasy perspective, real quick. If Dak stays in Dallas, I'm drafting him probably 3rd overall. As far as, no, I'm sorry, 3rd quarterback overall, not overall.
Oh, I was like,
No, I'm drafting him 3rd overall.
okay.
And then I'm going to
Gotcha.
draft Michael Gallup. No, I just think that team, and he was on pace for like 8,000 passing yards.
Yeah, it was something retarded. And see, that's the other thing, man. That's the other thing. Understand, you have no defense. They can't let him go. If they let him go, you have too much to do rebuilding your defensive side.
Yep.
You cannot let him go.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. So we got Dallas. We just hit Indy. Let's go to – that was my singing voice there. The Patriots. Okay, so
Ooh.
I heard an amazing stat this morning. I was listening to the greatest fantasy football and I'll probably get shit for this from people, but I was listening to the fantasy footballers. I want y'all to take we're going to do a quick guessing game here. How many passing touchdowns did the New England Patriots wide receivers catch in 2020?
All right, look, I think I know this. 13.
Got
Lower?
8.
Take the under. 8. Cam, take the under.
8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns. Lower than that? What?
4 touchdowns. The wide receivers caught 4 touchdowns. Cam Newton is not the answer. He signed a little piddly, like $1.5 million contract. He's not under contract next season.
He's making more money with them commercials.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He's a fashion icon. He's a fashion icon.
Between him and Baker, they have the best commercials.
Yeah.
They do.
And Jarrett Stidham has 2 more years on contract. So this is a crazy stat. Cam Newton had only 801 more passing yards than Dak Prescott, despite playing in 10 more games.
Wow. Dude, that is ridiculous. I did look up.
Though, Eric? Is that fair, though?
What do you mean?
Is it fair? I mean, Tom Brady left that team because they wouldn't put weapons around him, and then they didn't go get any weapons. So then he comes in, and let's be honest, Cam Newton was the prototype for a specific style of play. And I don't think I don't think Josh McDaniels always honored that. But I also know, hey, man, when you get into situations and you got to throw the ball, you got to throw the ball. You can't keep dicking around. So, look, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He can't run an RPO and throw it down the field. Hell, there are still quarterbacks that we think are great right now that the jury's still out about on that. Cam Newton's had injuries. He's getting shown up by much younger, better athletes. Not better athletes, but healthier athletes.
Yeah. He's had a lot of wear and tear on him, man.
Yeah, less worn athletes.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know that Cam Newton has a job next year.
So let me
as a backup, maybe. No, go ahead, Cam.
If you don't mind me jumping in. So the 2 things I had read, like possibly guys that they might switch Cam Newton out for, was Matt Ryan and Garoppolo. Now I don't. Which one? I'm gonna throw this. I'm gonna reverse it. I'm gonna throw it to y'all. Which one do you think would be a better fit in the Patriots organization, Matt Ryan or Garoppolo?
To me, I would have to say Garoppolo just because he's been there before. But neither one of them are going to have success because they have no one to throw the ball to. Who was their first round? N'Keal Harry. I think it was their first round pick in 2019. Terrible. He was terrible coming out of college. He can't separate. You can't just be a big body Devin Funchess type receiver in the NFL in 2020 and 2021. You just can't do it. So, I mean, Garoppolo is my answer because he is younger. He does have some sort of familiarity with Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels. However, I don't think either one are going to find any modicum of success while they're there.
Which I'm going to say, I think, and for one more reason, everything Eric said was correct, but let's
say that one more time.
Everything Eric said was correct, but let's also investigate this. So here's the deal.
We're never going to live that one down.
if Jimmy G was to find himself in New England, it would most likely be because out in San Fran, Shanahan got somebody that he wanted to play with, and there's only two guys that I can think about, which would be Kirk Cousins and Matt Ryan. So that I'm going to go ahead and double down on Matt Ryan's not going to New England, because if anybody's going to have Matt Ryan, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
Well, that's a good segue to the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're one of those teams they should be rebuilding. To be honest with you,
they should be.
They were 4-12. They have the 4th overall pick. Yes, you're right. New head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, everything. I have the same mock draft I mentioned earlier from Bucky Brooks, I believe. Yeah, Bucky Brooks. Duh. They have them taking Zach Wilson, who is pretty much he's the consensus 2 or 3 quarterback in this year's class. If that happens, man, and we know these top 5 these top 10 taking quarterbacks, they're expecting them to start from day one for the most part, right? Matt Ryan might be out. I don't know what Matt Ryan's what that will look like as far as cap savings or anything for the Falcons, but man, that would be a hard way to go out, man. Like for Matt Ryan, because he's been great for that franchise.
And so that was my thing when I was going through and doing all this, man. Matt Ryan, what I had seen, 4,000 plus passing yards, 26 TDs, 11 interceptions. That sucks, but he was at a 65% completion rate, and it's not the greatest in the world. But like, I don't see why everybody's shitting on him so hard. Like, I don't.
He didn't have Julio for different parts. I think Julio played 9 games, maybe 9 or 10 games in 2020.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Jason?
Calvin really was having to jump back and forth.
Right.
The tight end situation didn't play out after they went out and got a guy. They also lost a guy. So, that whole situation screwed him. Todd Gurley's not going to catch any balls. So, Matt Ryan has, I know I make excuses for quarterbacks like every 5 minutes, but that this is one where, no. I mean, come on. This is Matt Ryan. This is the only guy in the league right now I've ever seen compared to Peyton Manning in the way that he runs his offense. So, no, I refuse to give up on that guy. And honestly, Shanahan wants him. I mean, what happened last time he had him?
I mean, I love him in the 49ers offense. Are you kidding me? Lord have mercy. That's like real life and fantasy freaking gold there.
Oh yeah.
He's got 2 guys. If Deebo Samuel could ever freaking stay healthy, then you got Brandon Ayuk there as well. Freaking run after the catch monsters. Kyle Shanahan scheming people open all the time. You have a bevy of good running backs there. I mean, you got George Kittle
on the open market. Julio.
Oh yeah. You got Godwin on the open market. I mean,
Godwin.
That could
happen. We talked about that, but
no, I don't think so.
But I think Julio and Galladay are real options.
And I'm looking at the Falcons' salary cap situation here in 2021. They're actually $36 million over the salary cap as a team that just went 4-12. That's not good, man.
It's not good.
It's not good. The teams down here that are over the cap have either been ran super poor, like the Bears and the Texans and the Eagles, or they were successful. That's how it goes. You put all that in to go for the big one. You spend a bunch of money to win a Super Bowl, but if you're not even close to sniffing a Super Bowl like the Falcons are, you got to blow that thing up just like they did. All new coaching staff. Get rid of Matt Ryan. I know it'll suck for Falcons fans because he is a mainstay, a staple in Atlanta. But it's time, man. It's time. Draft Zach Wilson. If Justin Fields drops you, draft him. Start over. Let's get some fresh faces and some new blood there in Atlanta. All right, what we got next, boys? Oh God, I don't even want to talk about this one.
Who you got?
Okay, we're going to skip the Washington football team for now. We actually have buried quite a bit of a lead here. The Texans, man, the Texans. I've heard different things coming out that Watson is going. They're not going to trade him. I mean, if you look at what happened, oh God, Cam's rifling through notes over there. If you look at how much Stafford just went for, Jason, what is it going to take to pry Deshaun Watson away from Houston? Is it going to take 4 first-round picks?
I think so. I think it's around that. And I don't. Alexa doesn't know that. I don't know, man.
If Alexa doesn't know, what do we know?
Who is in the position to do something like that, or who would be? It's got to be a win-now team, right? You know, it's you got to have a perfect team. LA, what they gave up for Stafford, they could have easily done. They could have easily tried something similar for Watson, and maybe they did. We don't know, but
yeah,
it's going to be a team like LA who's a real playoff contender, who's a real championship contender. And I don't know. I don't know that I see a team. I know I certainly don't believe Robert Saleh should be getting his entire future career screwed over by a bunch of bad decisions. So
I agree with that. The only team I see personally is Miami. With that defense, they do have a lot of picks. They could make it happen, but even still, man, they would have to trade Tua away. Both first-round picks this year, which one of them is actually from Houston for the Laramie Tunsil trade. And then I mean, it would take a king's ransom, man. In my opinion, I think we all three are kind of the same mindset. Quarterback is the most important position. Do whatever you can to get a great quarterback, and it doesn't really. At a certain point, it doesn't matter how much it costs.
Right.
But Cam, to me, 4 first-round picks is too much. I mean, would you agree with that, or do you think if you're Miami, would you give that up for him?
So I don't know, man. With Miami, so blanket statement: 4 first-round picks is way too much for a team that obviously has a decent quarterback, or any quarterback with 2 fucking legs and an arm, just one arm. But I will say the most intriguing thing that popped up for me, and this isn't because I'm the closet Bears fans or whatever. The Bears have shown interest in Watson. All right, that's come up a few times. And with the Bears situation with quarterbacks coming out of Chicago, man, going back and forth with Foles and Trubisky, who, I mean, I'm not going to say they're shit in the bed, but look at the playoffs, man. It was a joke.
They at least peed the bed a little bit.
Yeah, it was a joke. I mean, because this is what I go by facts, and the facts that I have seen on Twitter, take them as what you are. I've seen the Panthers, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bears, the 49ers, and the Browns show interest in Watson. Those are the ones I keep seeing coming. Yeah, the Browns is really weird.
The Browns, that's really weird.
That's really weird. I think I might be following the wrong people on Twitter.
It's not that weird if you think about it.
I don't know, man, because Watson, it goes back to the trade, right? It goes back to what you're going to have to do. Because obviously Watson wants to leave. He's pissed. He wants to get the fuck out. So where does it come in? Who does it benefit more at that point? Like, does it benefit the organization more saying that, hey, we got this amazing quarterback that wants to leave. We're going to fucking just trade the shit out of somebody. We're going to, excuse language here, we're going to trade rape the fuck out of somebody here, and we're going to take everything they got? Or does it work out better for Watson, who's like, bro, I'm going to walk? Like, it's very interesting. This is so intriguing to me. I love it. Like, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No,
go ahead, Jason.
It's just James Harden just showed us how this works. Different sport, but he just showed us how this works.
Yeah.
Look,
nice.
The Baker Mayfield thing isn't that weird of a trade. I think Baker wouldn't mind being in Texas for reasons. But I think that also he brings value that others can't. Like when you make these trades, take it, for instance, Goff going to Detroit. when you can give them something that's not so unrealistic as to being productive and winning football games, when you can give them a player who does that, it softens the blow. Now, do I think they'll do it in Cleveland? Hell no. What I think would be dangerous and what could really hurt and really just toss the whole league up, and Eric talked about it on the last pod that we were on together, is the whole Teddy Bridgewater to Houston and him ended up in Carolina. Tell them about it, Eric.
I mean, you talk about, so you have Curtis Samuel. He is a free agent. If somehow they were able to get Deshaun Watson, and they made a run at Matthew Stafford, actually. They offered the number 8 overall pick for Matthew Stafford. Obviously, that wasn't enough because Detroit was like, hold my beer. Let me show you what a trade offer looks like here. But they're clearly in the market for a quarterback, right? And that defense isn't ready to make the leap. However, let's see what I'm going to see what their cap space looks like. I mean, I can't find them right now. So they're like right in the middle, actually. So they're like $7 million under the cap. They could definitely move some monies around if it meant to get Deshaun Watson in there. You've got him, and I'll speak from because fantasy mirrors real life football, right? So
right,
for the most part, I'll speak from both points of view. That is a blockbuster, incredible deal for the Carolina Panthers. I really wouldn't care what they had to give up to get Deshaun Watson. That is a young team. DJ Moore's like 23, man. He's like 23. Robbie Anderson showed he can legit be a number 1 receiver. With Teddy Bridgewater, he showed that. I love that new coaching staff that they brought in there. I think that is the ideal place. Now, do I think it's going to happen? I would probably give it a 15% chance of happening, honestly. Right. I just don't think that the Panthers are going to be silly enough to give away 4 first-round picks. Now, if you ask me, I might do like a who was it, Thurman Thomas or Ricky Williams? What was that trade? You know what I'm talking about, Jason? They traded literally their entire draft for a running back.
It was New Orleans Saints Mike Ditka.
Was it Ricky Williams?
Yeah, it was for Ricky Williams.
Yeah, I would do something like that, to be honest with you. I mean, here, take my entire 2021 draft. Let's hope that these young cats on defense, because they literally spent all their picks last year on defense. Carolina did, and that was their biggest concern or their biggest point of need. Man, dude, I would say, hey, here's my entire 2021 draft. Let's go. Give me Deshaun Watson, and then let's watch Deshaun Watson throw for 5,000 yards. You know what I mean? Just had an incredible season.
Playing Madden on rookie mode.
Good GMs make those types of decisions.
Mm-hmm. Not for running backs, but for quarterbacks. Oh, yeah.
In fantasy football, especially in dynasty leagues, yeah.
Shut up. I don't even want to hear that.
Got him again.
No. So we have two different dichotomies here as far as what y'all did at the end of the season, but that's okay. That's a story for another podcast. We'll definitely talk some dynasty football and do all that stuff.
I can't wait for that one.
All right, dude. Cam, it's your time to shine. The Washington football team is up. I heard a rumor that you're a pretty big fan of Taylor Heineke. Is that true?
Okay, so a pretty big fan is an understatement. Listen, I have no ties with the Washington football team except for the fact that, like, my dad's a huge fan. Never liked him growing up. Didn't. But let me tell you, when I was watching that playoff game and I saw Heineke out there bobbing, fucking weaving like he's goddamn young Mike Tyson, I was like, that's my boy. That's my boy. You made me a football team fan that day. If that man does not land a role next year, I am going to fucking punch something. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to send out a semi-mean tweet to the Washington football team. Dude, in all honesty, this man came from the whole XFL thing, doing all that, came in the playoffs and was like, I got something to prove, and just showed out. Why not give him a chance? The whole Alex Smith thing, I mean, I like the guy, but obviously he's got some issues, injury issues. Who else you got, man? You got rid of your other quarterback. Fuck it. Give Heineke a shot. Start him. I want to see it. You'll have another fan. Let's do it. Sorry. I love Heineke. Give him to me. That answer your question?
That was a heck of a – that was nice. I'm trying to see here where Also, actually, funny enough, Bucky Brooks has them taking Mac Jones, which I know Jason is kind of a personal favorite of yours from the college football ranks this year. That's a quarterback for Alabama who had all
Why?
those.
Because he looks like an elf. Because he looks like a fairy tale creature.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. No, but I remember you told me, man, he actually had a legitimate case for the Heisman, but his teammate actually won. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that pick. I think Mac Jones might have. I don't think might have. He clearly benefited from being around that Alabama offense. Like, let's be honest. But I don't think maybe he could be kind of a project quarterback. You got Alex Smith as a bridge starter or Taylor Heineke. I don't know. Heineke is not under contract as far as 2021 goes. I think I honestly do think what Cam was saying is right. His performance in the wild card round merits something. You got to give him a look at least.
You gotta re-sign the kid. It's gotta be reasonable.
Yeah,
And
he'll probably get like a vet
also
minimum deal or something.
Yeah, but we also have to understand they got no tape on this guy. They didn't know what they were dealing with at all.
Right.
And there's some really good offensive play calling. There's just a great game played all around. And you saw that organization morph into a completely different being one season after the explosion, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And
Ron Rivera, man.
hey, and Riverboat Ron's a great coach. So, and they have a great president of operations. He's really managing that team in a completely different way. They had some cool running backs just kind of pop up for them.
Antonio Gibson, baby.
Yeah,
oh my God.
And McKissick.
Oh yeah.
And so they had some really big talent. And I hear a lot of people sleeping on Cam Sims. I'm waiting to see if he can take that last performance and make 16 games out of it. But hey, man, Heineke's not a bad idea. Is he a great idea? I don't know.
Probably not. But hey,
nope, give him a shot. Let him.
Alex Smith
absolutely.
Alex Smith is a bad idea.
Yep.
I love what he accomplished. Who wouldn't? You have to be soulless not to understand what it means. But do you really want him to keep taking those risks with his body, with his longevity, with his livelihood? I just don't know. I know the guy wants to play, but come on, man.
Okay.
At some point in time, like, you have to accept the fact that one bad hit means you never walk again. And
right.
I just that's a rough one right there.
So real quick, if you watch that game, one thing I do like about the football team is the defense, man. Chase Young, dude, and seeing Chase Young light up. Like, the first time Heineke came off the field from having like an amazing stretch, seeing Chase Young light up and like basically tackle that dude on the side of the field, and seeing Chase Young, who was, what's he being called? Like the best motivator on the youngest motivator and all this. Like, he's such a great guy. He's such a great mind for football. That's what they're saying. To see him light up towards Heineke, come on. Alex Smith, like you said, I'm scared for the dude. I am literally scared to watch him play. It was like, if anybody is a wrestling fan out there, it's like watching Daniel Bryan come back from his like concussions and stuff. It's scary to watch him play because you're like, it's one bad hit and I'm gonna see somebody literally like just pass away in front of me. Not that bad, but it's scary, dude.
Lose their freaking leg.
That's scary,
He
man.
can lose his leg.
It's scary.
All right, we only got a few more teams to get through here. I'm in agreement with y'all, by the way. I do think Taylor Heineke 100% needs to be re-signed. I think they would be smart to draft a quarterback at 19. I think they're at 19. And just see what they have, because that defense is super young. They have 4 first-round picks on the defensive line alone. Jesus Christ. I mean, let's go. I mean, that's you talk about building from the trenches, That's a way to do it. And they actually got I'm pretty sure they have a first-round pick from San Francisco this year for Trent Williams. But anywho.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Build that line. And I know we'll get to the next few teams, but build that line. I don't know if Mac Jones is a smart decision. Build that line. Yeah.
Hey, man, I am always about drafting an offensive tackle if you think it's the right one, unless it's Isaiah Wilson, don't do that. That's a terrible idea because he played about 3 snaps and he got in trouble because he's a big fat idiot. But whatever. All right, man. I think we did a little bit on the Steelers earlier, but I will say this: Roethlisberger's gonna be 39. He his 2019 and his 2020. 2019, obviously, he only played like 2.5 games, but they were his lowest yards per attempt in his entire career, both of them. His arm is going. He's just old, man. That 04 class, he's the last one standing. Manning, Rivers, Roethlisberger.
Let me tell you, that man needs to go trade those cleats in for some of these. Some really cheesy house slippers. Trade them in.
Are those little Christmas trees on there?
They are. They're from Christmas. You're done. Trade them in. Get you some little Christmas tree slippers, dude. It's getting embarrassing. Come on, man.
It was bad, man. That game against Cleveland was just, ugh. But I would just say this: Ben did say he's willing to restructure his deal, much to the hatred of every Pittsburgh Steelers fan that I know. They were like, "God dang it, please get him." I mean, our guys in the Dynasty chat were like, "God dang it." They signed Dwayne Haskins to a 1-year, $850,000 deal. I don't think he's the answer. I don't think Mason Rudolph's the answer. What do you do with that team moving forward? Is it Ben for 2021? I mean, what else do you do?
This is out of respect. This is out of respect to Ben Roethlisberger. He'll play next year, and that'll be that. It's out of respect to Ben Roethlisberger. They'll do a really great job because they're the Steelers. They'll pull it through somehow, some way.
They always
8-8 or better. We can guarantee that. And then they'll make their way to a draft and figure something out, but or get a free agent. But this is an ode to Ben.
It's just rough, man. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ken.
I was just going to say, I put in my notes like he's not going to retire this season because, funny enough, I'm going to give him a shout out because he's the one that I was talking to about it. Keith, our buddy, I was talking to him, and he was like, dude, for the past like 2 or 3 years, Ben has teased this, I'm going to retire, and then he comes right back to siphon money out of the organization and sticks around. So I guarantee you, watching him on that sideline when what was the center's name? That was yeah. So he's crying. He retired, and then Roethlisberger's just sitting there like, nah, bro, I got one more. I could do it for one more. Like I could do it. And
he's like
you just heard a collective sigh from the entire fan base, just like
Roethlisberger is like your drunk uncle, and you're trying to get him to leave the party. He's like, no, I got one more beer. Let me have one more beer. And you're like, please, sir, leave. We appreciate what you've done for us, but just leave us alone. So Ben does, dude, his cap number in 2021, $41 million. Get him out of there, dude. I'm looking at the Steelers right here. They are $34 million over the cap.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the problem. No, that's what I'm saying. So here the problem is Ben is competent enough to, like Jason said, to get them to 8-8, and their defense is good enough, I'll say great enough, to get them to like 10-6 or 11-5 like they were this year. So it's just a crappy situation to be in because you're not going to be in contention for any of those top quarterbacks in 2022. So you have to bank on a free agent or somebody wanting to come to your team. And that running game was awful, which definitely didn't help Ben at all. But you talk about Deontay Johnson, Clay Chapel. That's what we're going to call him. That is his nickname now, Clay Chapel. I
like it.
But Chapel, he was incredible, man. They have some weapons. I don't think Juju's back next year. I think he's definitely gone. I think there's too much damage done within that organization with him and just his kind of antics, but not like Antonio Brown antics, but kind of like just juvenile shit that he's like, oh, let me dance on all the logos because I got a cool, what is that shit called? Snapchat or whatever, Twitch, whatever he does. I don't know. TikTok. Thank you. I don't know. I'm old, dude. I don't know what the hell. I have a mustache. Do you think I do TikTok? They don't let me on TikTok.
I'm tired of looking. I'm not looking at it intentionally. I'm staring at silver and white.
Bruh, it's growing for sure.
Oh, it's so bad.
All right. So the Steelers, I think we agree. It's going to be Ben next year, and then they're just going to kind of be in purgatory for the next few years, in my opinion. We hit the 49ers. We hit the Panthers. The Broncos. Now, that is an interesting team for
He had
maybe.
a sophomore slump.
You
Stop
love
picking
Drew
on my
Lock
boy.
so much.
Stop picking on my boy. That's all I'm saying about it. Stop. He had a sophomore
Second round
slump. This shit
quarterback.
happens. It happens. He's still
With how many great weapons he has around him. Now, granted, Cortland Sutton was injured.
He's coming back.
He is coming back.
Cortland Sutton was injured.
Yep.
They played this stupid experiment at running back, so their running game sucked ass because they wanted.
You know, Melvin Gordon was like top 5 or like top 10 in most rushing yards.
Huh?
Melvin Gordon was like top 10 in most rushing yards in the NFL.
I don't care. He looked like shit. He looked like shit to me. I don't care. I mean, dude, he did that in like 4 or 5 games. It wasn't consistent by any means.
Fair enough.
And I mean, Drew Lock was hurt. He was up and down. And look, again, I've said it a million times. There wasn't a preseason. There wasn't an off season. These guys came in. He was working with new players, and again, they had tape on him. They didn't have tape on him rookie year. You saw him flash. You gotta give the kid one more year.
He can rap. That's pretty much it in my opinion. I am not a fan of Drew Lock.
Wow.
I don't think he's talented, man. You have Noah Fant, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. They had another guy, Melvin Gordon, to throw the ball to out of the backfield as well. I just don't think he's very good. Just quite honestly. And you're telling me that you would not, if they could somehow work a deal for Deshaun Watson over there? I mean,
Your defense is terrible, though.
the Broncos?
I think so. They're old.
That's fair. I will say that. You're right. I think Bradley Chubb, he's a bright spot.
Yeah, he's the bright spot. Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. I agree. I do agree with you there. All right. So, I mean, but I think it's Drew Lock next year. I don't think they make any crazy big moves or anything.
Give him another shot, man. That's why you drafted him. And that's another thing. I understand that once upon a time they draft, a team drafted the Rosen one and just destroyed our idea of what it looks like to draft a quarterback and stick to him and say, hey, I made this decision. Let's play it out. I get that, we saw that all to hell. But come on, man. You invested. You invested. Yeah. We make these comments when people go out and spend high draft picks on running backs. Oh, you invested. You better feed this guy the ball. We see it year in and year out. Some team will come in and will say, hey, we absolutely know who's running the ball this year in fantasy. And then they go draft a rookie running back and you go, damn it. Yeah. He's got the ball now, right? Because you have to respect the
draft capital,
the investment that you put in.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the fantasy world, in the sports media world, like everybody needs to just take a chill pill for a minute and realize Josh Rosen is not the new. That's not the new move. It's not. It's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing. We got to stop trying to throw.
But they got Kyler Murray for him. But they did get Kyler Murray.
Okay, but man.
But you're right, Jason. It's not always going to work out that way.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that, I am of the mindset that you should take chances on quarterbacks if you're within the top 10 and it looks like you can do that. But I am of that exact same mindset. Give the guys at least 2 years, 2 solid years, and like you said, no real preseason, no real mini camps, no real anything. It's rough to judge somebody off of that. I do agree with you there.
We are running the best rapport. He and Judy might be the best thing you've ever seen next year.
I hope so, man. I love Jerry Jeudy. I think he's incredible. Mm-hmm. I love Cortland Sutton. I think he's incredible. I wish that Cam would trade him to me in Dynasty, but so we're running freaking long as hell. So we got a few. Oh, okay.
We'll talk about
it. So the Eagles.
Look at his face.
So as far as the Eagles go, I think the only way that stuttering dumb idiot of a new head coach they got hired is because he said, I can make Carson Wentz work. I think it's Carson. I think they start out with Carson Wentz next year. 100%.
He's under contract until 2024. Why not? I mean, I definitely think he's going to start.
He's a massive contract, dude.
Yeah.
Eric, you're right. I mean, that's exactly why he got his job. I can fix your investment. What we just talked about. We just talked about investment.
Yeah.
I can save your investment. But guess what?
Yep.
Jalen Hurts is an investment too. And I love him. So,
Ooh.
you know what? If that's what you're there to do and the GM's fully behind it, get you something for Jalen Hurts right now. Because if you think you can win legitimate football games with Carson Wentz, which I hope you don't, if you think that you can.
Same.
Yeah, if you think that you can and you really believe this, then you will make a move here. Because you just can't just sit there and hold both. You got other problems to take care of. Once upon a time, that offensive line was the best in the NFL. It's not that anymore. And then we blame Carson Wentz for it.
I will say this. Andre Dillard went down very early with a season-ending injury. So did Lane Johnson tried to come back, got in and out. So both of his bookends of that, or both of the bookends of that offensive line, much like Dallas, we saw Tyron Smith in and out, and then we saw La'el Collins leave in the beginning of the season. So that hurts a quarterback a lot.
Yep.
Honestly, it does. Especially so Dak has got a little mobility, but like Wentz, he can scramble a little bit, but he's one of those more pocket passing type QBs. So I don't want to.
Great mobility.
He might have once upon a time before he freaking got his back broke. He honestly, does he not look like he's scared to run? Doesn't he?
He looks like he's scared of everything. But I would be too if I started with the crypt keeper at wide receiver 1 every season. Deshaun Jackson just like falls into the locker room, like ready to go.
They put him on one of those dollies and just roll him in.
Yeah.
He's like, check out my wheels, man.
Oh my God.
All right. So anything to add on that, Kim?
Nah, man, I
got it.
Pretty much said everything on that one.
So I'm going to hit the top 2 picks in the draft this year, the Jaguars and the Jets. I personally don't think – well, I mean, I don't think. It is 100% a lock. The Jags are taking Lawrence, number 1.
Yep.
The most highly touted QB prospect since Andrew Luck was taken in 2012. That's a wrap. That's who's going to be starting for them in 2021. So
absolutely
done.
Yep.
I think, Jason, you said something very poignant earlier. Robert Saleh does not need to start out his Jets tenure with trading every single pick for the next 3 years to get Deshaun Watson. Take Justin Fields, take the other cat, which Zach Wilson, take a young quarterback and let him and Sam Darnold compete. Let them compete. The best man wins.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do that. What do you think, Cam?
I mean, I'm with you, man. Like, I mean, why not? Why not? You're literally the shittiest organization in the NFL. You got, I mean, besides letting down your fans and letting down your investors and shit, I mean, who you got to let down? Just let them go for it, man. See what you got. Yeah. I mean, who knows? There could be something there, man. Just Fields and Darnold, just go for it.
Here's the thing with that, too. If they both show that they have value, and if we hope to God we have a preseason, then now you have a valuable trade piece in one of those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's, and doing all this stuff, man, I've seen Darnold's name come up quite a few times as a possible trade to some other teams for, this and that and the other. I mean, why not, dude? Why not? I mean, literally, I hate the Jets. They're stupid. They all suck. Everybody from the owner all the way down to the fucking punter. I hate them. They're all stupid. Just go ahead and experiment with stuff.
Joe Namath was an idiot, a terrible quarterback. Yeah,
idiot,
that's how much. All right, last team. I think we're all in agreement there. We'll see what they do, though. I hope to God Robert Saleh has some sort of pull to make that front office do something that makes freaking sense. So the last team we're going to talk about is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe we hit everybody else. If we didn't, I do apologize. The Bucs are last, man.
He's staying. He's staying. End of story. He's staying.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Yeah, like
he just came out and said, "I'm going to play till I'm 50 now." He just keeps messing with the media.
He wants
to screw with the media so hard, but the dude's going to play till he's 45. He meant that.
So yeah, he's definitely on his contract. He's definitely in for next year. I believe he will come back next year. But I mean, honestly, I believe he's going to come back. But there's got to be that side of that man to do everything he's done. How sweet would it be to end his career on taking his team to the Super Bowl, especially if he won it? If he won it, how nice would that be to just be like, I'm done. I've done everything I can possibly do. Literally everything at this point.
And
That's my only concern is that he could theoretically look back at what happened to Breeze, look what happened to some of these other guys and be like, you know what? I'm going to call it a day if I win it.
Yeah. And you think about it too. He wins it in his home stadium, not his home stadium, but I mean the Tampa Bay home stadium.
Yep.
That's a picture perfect ending to a GOAT freaking career.
Yep. Because I mean,
Then he can spend the rest of his days eating grass in the field like a goat.
I don't see it happening, but like, what if, say he gets, to the Super Bowl, let's say he wins it. What happens next year if like they tank? Does he really want to go out on like a bad season? Which I don't think they will have one, but there's a possibility. Would you want to go out on a bad season or you want to go out on top, winning the Super Bowl, like as your final move? Like, I don't know. It's for me, I would walk out. I'd be like, I'm done. I'm going to go enjoy my life. I'm going to go put on those slippers I was talking about earlier. I'm going to go relax. Like, because at that point, who do you got to prove anything to? He already doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. And if he was to walk out with this Super Bowl ring on his finger, literally, nobody ever could argue that he is not the greatest of all time. He is the GOAT already. Like, I don't know. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I agree, Tim. I think you're right. I mean, if he wins this time, I mean that's a legacy completely solidified. I think it already is. I think most rational people would say so. But
that's why I'm not counting him out. It's never been a rationale. It's never been about. I mean, you're right in a way when you say he has nothing to prove. But Cam, man, we're talking about a guy who has pushed what he feels like he needs to prove to a level that is hard to follow. Honestly, he is the GOAT, and he just keeps going. The dude literally is just like, how far? I think at this point he's like, how far can I go? I think this is a giant science experiment for him at this point. I mean, he doesn't have anything to lose. So I don't know, man. I think he plays to 45 like he said he would. I think that's why he signed the contract he signed.
Yeah.
And
I mean, let's not count this out. There's a very real chance they could be back in the Super Bowl again next year. So I mean, I talk about tanking and stuff. I mean, that's a very real possibility that they could come back and then he could twofer and then just let it, because he is a man of his word. I'll give him that. Like when he came to Tampa, he was like, I'm going to play 2 years. He even, correct me if I'm wrong, he even gave up some of his own money to get back to Tampa so they could build a core and build that team up. So, I mean, he's dedicated to it. It's not like he just walked in and was like, random team, I'm taking you to the Super Bowl. No, like, I mean, he obviously has stake in it. So, I don't know. It's interesting. But, like, now my thing is let's just say, what if Brady did retire after this season? What are the Bucs going to do in a quarterback situation?
Jameis Winston, baby. No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know what they would do with that. I think, to me, this is Bruce Arians, that front office, that ownership, Tom Brady. Everyone is going in for a Super Bowl this year. I don't think there's been a lot of thought to the future. 100%. I mean, they are actually in a really good cap space. They're like $34 million under the cap going into 2021. Oh, wow. Tom Brady was only owed, he was owed $25 million or $27.8 million this year. Or excuse me, 27.8, 29, I guess, next year, which is very low compared to some of these other quarterbacks. Not very low, but it's very much not a GOAT status type thing. So, I mean, it's very realistic. He does not look like a 43-year-old quarterback.
He does not.
I mean, I don't think that there's ever been a quarterback like this he looks as good now as he did when he was like 37, 36, 35.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just incredible, dude. It's a freak plant. He's eating lots of plants, drinking lots of green juice. Freaking, I don't know, dude. It's just crazy. It's just a crazy situation. But hey, this is the end of our quarterbacks. Our quarterback carousel, we'll call it. Yay! First live stream ever. Hopefully, the people don't say that we suck too bad. They can say we suck a little bit.
Y'all look so pretty on here. Y'all look beautiful. I just want to give y'all a shout out.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
You look okay. But hey, anybody got anything else to say before we jump off of here? Nothing. All right,
just gonna hammer it home one more time. Heineke.
There it is. All right, y'all. Y'all be good. Appreciate y'all going along for the ride with us.
This is fun.
And we'll see. Hey, we'll see you next week. Actually, we might see you Saturday. Maybe. We'll definitely see you next week. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we're out. EJC NFL Pod. Let's go.
Love you.